grow as much as we possibly can, fruit, vegetables and other crops. It is also important for us to regenerate those things that we do have to buy that aren't available in Cyprus. So we try to propagate more trees, more vegetables from seeds and produce that they grow. So therefore we are creating a food forest where we can create more trees, more fruits, more vegetables, and I'm going to share some basic tips today with you of how to grow more fruit trees from any stock that you do have to buy. Let's begin with hardwood cuttings. So this is currants, gooseberries, blueberries and grapevines, and these are increased by taking hardwood cuttings. The process doesn't need any propagators or any equipment other than a pair of secateurs or pruners and a sharp knife. And I always tell you, it is so important for success to always disinfect your secateurs or your knives between every cutting. So when is the best time to take hardwood cuttings? Well, this is usually autumn, preferably early autumn. You need to select a few shoots that have grown during the previous year, and you'll see they're now firm and well ripened. They need to be straight and about 30 centimetres or 12 inches long. To make sure you've got a sheltered site which is away from drying type winds and hot sun. You make a narrow trench by inserting a spade into the soil and pushing it to one side to open up a V-shaped slit. If your soil's heavy, then trickle some clean sharp sand into the bottom of the slit and then insert the cuttings. Place them about 15 centimetres, which is 6 inches apart. Plant them so that about half the cutting is below the ground. Then you place your spade into the ground about 10 centimetres, which is 4 inches away from the initial slit, and lever it so that the slit closes up, firmly holding the cuttings, and then of course firm down the soil gently with your feet around it. Be aware if you have any roots of fruit or other types of trees, it is best these days thought not to compact the earth with your foot around them. A lot of trees I grow in my garden, the roots are near the soil surface, so then don't do this if you're actually planting cuttings with roots. Then you'll find by the next autumn the cuttings should have rooted of these, and they can be dug up and then transplanted to a final position or moved to a nursery bed for another year. Let's talk about layering. Blackberries and hybrid berries are best increased by the process of layering. This is the same also for strawberries, although the later are usually obligating enough to do it by themselves, and that leaves you to transplant the new plants. At some time during your growing season, you will have a healthy blackberry cane that is long enough to touch the ground. This is the point where the tip makes contact with the soil. Then you need to dig a hole about 10 centimetres, which is 4 inches deep. Then place the tip in it and bury it by replacing the soil. If it is an exposed position and it's possible the cane will be blown or knocked out of the ground in any way, particularly by your animals, this can be a problem, then of course you can secure it with a peg, although this is not always necessary. Then you will find by late autumn the tip will have rooted. Cut the new plant from its parent shoot about 30 centimetres, which is 12 inches from the ground. Then dig up the young plant and transplant it to its rooting position. So you may be wondering why we start the trees off in different places, the cuttings. Well, this is obviously, you might have them in better protected areas to start them growing, but that's not where you actually want them to be. So that's where we do a safer place to start them, and then once they're strong and healthy you can move them to a new position, much like after you would buy them from a garden centre, you reposition. Of course, if you want to grow some in pots, the young plant can then be transplanted directly into a pot. It is possible to cut out this stage by burying the tip of the parent cane into a pot of potting compost soil mix instead of a hole in the ground, and it will root just as easily. The pot can be let into the ground, which will prevent it from being knocked over and will not dry out as quickly as it would if you left it standing on the ground. Strawberries can also be treated in this way. After fruiting, as you may know, they send out runners which will drop roots at intervals along their length, and they produce the new plants. And to make sure they root, you can peg them down or cover a short length of the runner with soil. But this is sometimes unnecessary, as naturally the plant will root itself quite normally. Again, the runners can be pegged onto poster compost, a soil mix again if you want ready planted pots. Don't forget, some items can be reproduced using the method of division, such as raspberries. Raspberries are usually increased by division. It's a simple matter to lift some of the suckers that emerge a little way from the parent plant. In the autumn, dig up a healthy, strong-growing sucker, cut through the root that is still attached to the main clump, and then this is what you replant into where you want it to fruit. Not sure your plant is healthy, then it's better not to use it at all. A roundup of methods of propagation. Division is for blackberries, hybrid berries, raspberries and strawberries. Layering is for blackberries, hybrid berries and strawberries. Hardwood cuttings for blackcurrants, gooseberries, grapes, red currants and white currants. Semi-ripe cuttings for blueberries, and grafting can be used for all fruit trees. So this is an introduction to different ways of propagation. Look out for more in the series, and I will leave you with some pictures of my fruit and food forest. What are you growing today? Let me know in the comments below. What is your best fruit tree that you are growing? Until next time, Marathi.